Confidence denotes trust. Trust in someone else if you have confidence in them. Well, what is self-confidence? I trust myself. If we want to raise a child with self-confidence, we want a child that can trust herself, himself, in whatever circumstances come up. So the first tip that I have for you in raising a child with self-confidence is to teach and model integrity. Let me define that. Integrity is when what I say matches what happens. When your experience of me is completely consistent with the way that I've presented myself. This is why discipline is so important too. You think about it, sometimes you discipline your kids because you want them to do something because it makes your life better, right? Okay, but what does it do for them? Did you realize that your child following through on what they say they would do when they said they would do it helps them to have more self-confidence. It helps them to trust themselves more. The nice little side effect is that it helps other people to trust them too. You're probably getting used to this by now, but I've got to remind all of us of what our job is as parents. If you've watched a few of these videos already, you already know. It's to love them no matter what, and even if. Love them. Your job as a parent is to love your kids. Can I be any more painfully clear about that? That is so important because all of these strategies and tips that I share with you are nothing more than manipulation if we lose sight of that primary job. You with me on this? Love them no matter what and even if. Now, because we love them, we want them to have a more excellent experience, right? To experience joy and happiness in their own lives. And to do that, they need to know a few things. What if we could help them to be more confident? Now remember, your job isn't to make sure that they're more confident, but because you love them, you would also love it if they were more confident, right? Because their life gets to rock more. And it'll bless your life too, but that's not why we're doing it. How do you raise a confident child? How do you increase or boost the confidence that your child has? I'm going to suggest 4 steps. I originally heard about these 4 steps from Foster Cline and Jim Fay. You might recognize those names as the authors of Parenting with Love and Logic. One of those basic parenting books that I think is a classic, and I highly recommend it. And these 4 steps have been adapted from what Cline and Fay taught in that Love and Logic approach, with a few little Dr. Paul enhancements. Now let's take a look at step number 1. Step number 1, you're going to give your child a task that they can handle. How can you tell if your child can handle a task? Now, do you see what this has to do with confidence? Because they might not know if they can actually handle any particular task. And you might have a different understanding of that as a parent too. Most of the things that we want them to do, they haven't yet mastered the skill for. Okay, so we've got a little mismatch here in what people are thinking about who can handle what. So we're going to accelerate this with a little test. It's just a mental test, so run it through your own mind. What if you were to ask yourself, okay, if I took away the motivation factor, is the ability there? That's what I mean by can they handle it, okay? A task that they can handle. The 5K test is a really good way to get to this. It's where you ask in your own mind, hey, if I offered my kid $5,000 to do what I just asked him to do, would it happen? See how useful? I'm not saying you should offer your kid $5 grand. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying you run this test through your own mind. If I offered him $5 grand, would it happen? And that way we're getting past the motivation issues and into the can they handle this thing. Okay? Give them a task that they can handle. Again, toward building confidence. Step 2. Once you give them the task, of course, you're going to hope that they... here's where I throw a little wrench into things. You're going to hope that they blow it. Disclaimer. I don't want your kids to fail any more than you do. That's why I use the word blow it, because we're not saying hope that they fail. We're saying hope that they have a significant opportunity to learn something. Think about your own life, for example. Where have you learned your greatest lessons? Honestly, take a little inventory and see. It's from your mistakes, isn't it? Yeah, me too. That's because our mistakes carry a powerful energy for learning stuff. And if we want our kids to learn confidence, how are they going to do that? They're going to learn it through this process, okay? Just like you did. So we're going to hope that they blow it. Now, this does a couple of things psychologically. Think about it. As a parent, if you hope that they blow it, will you remind them? No! That goes against what you're hoping for. Besides, we call it reminding. They call it something else, don't they? Nagging, writing me, getting on my case. Doesn't work. So we're going to back off, hope that they blow it. Now, the other thing this does for you as a parent is it allows you to keep smiling. And I've found that when parents are smiling, kids are thinking. There's an interesting correlation there. Because they're wondering what you're up to, right? Example for you that came from a mom who was working with her teenage daughter to be more responsible in her schoolwork and to stay away from some things that were kind of harmful to her. She was starting to use some substances. Without sharing all of the details, here's the arrangement. Mom told this daughter, if you will attend every class this week on time with all of your assignments completed, I will take you out on Friday to get your dress for the prom that's coming up on Saturday. And then she smiled, because when mom's smiling, kids are thinking. Guess what happened with the daughter? What do you think? She's a teenager who's in a pattern of skipping classes and smoking something out behind the shop. Yeah, she blew it, which is good. Now, that's going to tip you over potentially because you really want your kids to succeed. But in our coaching of parents, we teach them back off, let them blow it. Let them, like it's up to you. They're going to blow it, right? But you kind of secretly hope that they do, because then they get to have a learning experience. And that's what we're after. We want them to develop self-confidence and be responsible. So daughter blew it. Mom didn't say anything. And as a parent, I want you to just chill. Okay? Don't remind them about everything. We call it reminding. They call it something else. Nagging. Mom was cool. She observed and she's waiting for Friday. Okay? Daughter comes out of school on Friday, hops in the car expecting to go down to the dress shop. Where did mom go? Home. Did daughter notice this? Oh yeah. Now it would have been really easy for mom after daughter said, Mom, what about my dress? Would have been really easy for mom to bawl her out and bail her out. I was so proud of her. She didn't. She didn't bawl her out and bail her out. And usually that sounds something like, well, next time you need to listen to me. Or if you would have just done what I asked you to do, now you've turned into this ranting, raving lunatic. No, mom was cool. She's like, oh, sweetie, I feel so badly about this, but I have to respect your decision. Wow, that was powerful. And daughter turned it on, waterworks and tears and whining. But Mom, what am I going to do? What am I going to wear to the dress? Mom was awesome again. She said, sweetie, I don't know, but I trust you to figure something out. Wow. Now, separate yourself for just a minute from the emotional impact of an event like this and see what kind of learning's happening in daughter's head. Mom's being cool, mom's smiling, mom is following through on the consequences and expressing empathy without bailing her out. What's going to happen the next time? The next time she tells mom, I'm going to be in class every day this week. And we want to invite them to think, not fight. Think, not fight. Put that in your notes somewhere. So we back off. We're going to hope that they blow it. Don't worry, we got 2 more steps. Here we go. Every choice has a consequence. The better my choices, the better my consequences. Step 3 is where we let consequences do the teaching. Now there's an emotional component here too that we have to address. Normally, when your kids blow it, what kind of emotional energy do you bring to that? Yeah, you know, don't you? It's like, oh, if you would just listen to me, this wouldn't happen next time. It's okay. No, as a parent, remember, you were kind of hoping for this. So when they blow it, you're like, oh, good. Why? Because they get to learn something. And have you noticed that the price tag for your kids learning something, it's going up every day. It doesn't get any cheaper. Earlier is not an option, and later is just more expensive. So how about right now? That'd be good, wouldn't it? That's when we want them to learn something. It's the lowest cost. So you allow the consequences to fall, all right? And you step up with an empathic, loving response to your child, because they're going to be hurting right about now. And normally what happens is we don't really want our kids to have that consequence. While we're building confidence in our children, sometimes we want to take away that consequence from them, but then we feel a little guilty as parents because we realize at some level we just stole a learning opportunity from them, so we bawl them out and bail them out. This is the old 3 R's of parenting. Rant, rave, and rescue. Doesn't work. But we go there because we don't really want our kids to have a consequence. It's not about you. Don't steal this from your child. Allow the consequence to happen, and then you respond in a loving and empathic and compassionate way. Okay? Connect with how they're feeling. No I told you so's. No bawl them out and bail them out. Let consequences and empathy help you to teach the confidence. And now we go to step 4. Isn't this brilliant? You give them the same challenge again. This is where you send a powerful, empowering message as a parent that, hey, you are smart enough. You are observant enough. You are brilliant enough to learn from your significant learning opportunities in a way that allows you to get this. Let's try it again. See, if you bawl them out and bail them out, you're sending a whole different message. What you're really saying is, hey, you're probably too stupid to do this. I guess I'll just have to take care of it for you. No, that's not really what we want them to learn, is it? And so in building confidence, they get to face this thing knowing that you, as their parent, have full confidence that they can do it. That confidence will model for them the kind of confidence that we're trying to build in them. 4 steps. Give it a try. See what happens.